News came out this week. James White now out for the season for New England. So most people think Tom Brady and company are just going to blow the Pats away on Sunday. I would totally agree with that. So the playing from behind game script could be in play here for Mac Jones and company. In that scenario, James White would usually shine. He would eat. But now with him out for the year, a lot of people scrambling to the waiver wire, looking at J.J. Taylor. So chase or fade that Taylor will see a lot of volume this week in Foxborough, Geoff.
Yeah, I fade this. I have no idea what Bill Belichick is going to do. I mean, look, you follow fantasy football for the last decade. The Bill Belichick roller coaster at running back is whatever you think he's going to do, he's probably not going to do it. What do we know about this guy? I mean, okay, he's flashed. Some people like him. I mean, J.J. Taylor, it makes sense that J.J. Taylor would be the guy who steps in, but, like, don't forget, Stevenson looked very good in the preseason. I hate to even bring up the name, guys, but like Brandon Bolden still on the roster. This has a 20% chance of working out like everyone thinks it's going to be. I think J.J. Taylor will get involved a little bit. I don't think he's going to dominate the touches or anything. That would make sense. But again, trying to make sense of what Bill Belichick going to do, always going to give you a headache. So, no, I'll fade this.
All right, what are you going to do? Chase or fade, Pearce?
I'll fade this as well. 20% is probably kind of high that this is going to work. That's being really hopeful for J.J. Taylor. And it's the same reasons that Geoff mentioned. It's Bill Belichick. We don't know what he's going to do. There's 4 running backs already on this team. And if for whatever reason J.J. Taylor ends up being the guy that gets the workload, well, then he has to do something with it. And he also needs Tampa to allow a 3rd string, 4th string, whatever string he is, running. Look, I love going to like the waiver wire guy, and I'm a sucker for the next guy up, cheap value play, but this ain't it.
Let's see if this is it. 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan attempting to put a stop to talk of a quarterback battle in San Fran this week, reiterating that Jimmy G, handsome, overrated quarterback, is the starter. That may be the case now. However, chase or fade that Jimmy G is still under center at the end of the season, Pearce?
I think he's going to be the starter all season long. Have we lost our minds? Have we seen what these rookie quarterbacks are doing? They're terrible. If Zach Wilson were on the bench, people would say, give him a chance. If Trevor Lawrence were on the bench, they would be saying the same thing. Stick with the quarterback. Last time I checked, it's hard to play quarterback in the NFL. And every year at this time, I find myself Googling quarterbacks that sat during the rookie season. I click on this very same clickbait article every time, and I find out, yeah, a lot of really good quarterbacks sat out. So, hey, San Francisco, be patient. Take your time. A lot of good quarterbacks rest their first year. And, hey, your problem is not the quarterback. They need to figure out the running back situation, and they need to get their cornerbacks healthy.
I have been watching all of the rookie quarterbacks all season, Pearce. I also watched that Jaguars game last night. Trevor Lawrence making throws that no one has seen in a Jaguars uniform since the Mark Brunell days. Did not throw any interceptions. Trevor Lawrence is back. Geoff, back to the 49ers. Jimmy G still under center at the end of the season, chase or fade?
Yeah, let's just overlook the fact Joe Burrow had like a better everything.
Oh my God!
Night. But okay, yeah.
Get
anyways,
out of here! Get
great
out of
pick.
here!
I mean, sure. I mean,
Thank
Jameis
you.
Winston for sure. You got the next one. Look, Pearce is right. The problem really hasn't been Jimmy Garoppolo this year. I mean, he's got a 101 QBR. He's got a yards per attempt of 8, which is fine. It's about average. 67% completion rate. Like, he's not playing terrible. The problem with the 49ers this year is going to be their defense. They're allowing like almost 5 yards per carry on the ground right now as well. Sure, they're getting a little bit of pressure, but like they're not really playing good on defense. That's going to lead to more shootouts. I guess if Jimmy Garoppolo has to drop back more, I think if you're betting on Trey Lance to be a starter, it's probably because Jimmy Garoppolo starts throwing more and then he gets injured again because he starts getting sacked more. He's already taken 5 sacks on the year. So that is a possible lane where Trey Lance could end up as a starter, but I don't think that I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's play is going to get him benched because, this is a San Francisco offense. They have great yards after the catch receivers, Deebo Samuel, the running backs, Kittle. Like, these guys are going to make Garoppolo good regardless. So as long as Garoppolo's serviceable, he's probably not going to get benched. So I'm going to fade this one too.
Okay, Geoff. Anywho, for a second, we're in a fight now, Geoff. Now it's Reed and I versus you. For a second straight week, Lamar Jackson has missed some practices. This time, looks like a sore back. So Jackson is the team's leader in rush attempts and yards this season. So I need you to chase or fade for me, Geoff, that Baltimore dials back Lamar's rushes in week 4 to protect him a little more, which would obviously, if they did that, would impact a lot of his fantasy points.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson isn't getting dialed back anytime soon. Are you kidding me?
I don't know if he would allow that.
This is their offense. And then you've got the fact that, they're going up against Denver, one of the best, just against the pass altogether in the league. This is a stacked secondary. Baltimore's not passing their way out of this game. They're not going to be doing anything out of this game. They're probably going to need Lamar Jackson to save them with their legs. I expect a close game here, and I expect Baltimore, maybe the only way they're going to be able to move the ball consistently is with Lamar Jackson getting out of the pocket, making some plays, maybe a little bit with his arm too. But no, I don't expect Baltimore to be dialing back his carries here. I know he only had 7 carries against Detroit, but he also averaged 14 in the first 2 games. He's on pace for about his career average, maybe even a little bit above it. So no, I don't think Lamar Jackson gets dialed back here at all. If anything, I think they dial him up because they do not want to be passing the ball much against Denver.
Yeah, he's the 4th highest priced quarterback on the Sunday main slate, Pearce. Can the Ravens even afford to dial him back?
Well, they can't, and they won't. If you look at the last 3 seasons, he set the record for rushing attempts for a quarterback. The 3 most rushing seasons by quarterbacks are his last 3 seasons. And that was with running backs on the team. They need him. They have to run him into the ground. Their refurbished running back crew is not going to get the job done. Hollywood Brown is unreliable. This team reminds me a lot of those average Falcons teams that were really good because they had Michael Vick making the defenses focus on Vick. The defenses have to focus on Lamar, and that opens up Mark Andrews. That opens up Hollywood Brown. Without him running, they're just average, so they're going to have to basically run this guy into the ground.
Yeah, if he practices even in a limited fashion today, I'd fully expect him to play on Sunday. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but there are 4 teams in the NFL, right, that are going to enter Sunday's games 0-3. You got the Giants, you got the Jets, you got the Colts, you got the Lions. A shout out to the Jaguars, first 0-4 team in the NFL season, in which there are 17 regular season games.
19 team last time I checked, Emerson.
Yeah. I mean, they're 0-18 now, dating back to last season. Whatever. Okay, back to this question. So 4 0-3 teams, Giants, Jets, Colts, and Lions entering this Sunday. None of those teams have great matchups. So I need you to chase or fade that all 4 of these 0-3 teams drop to 0-4 after week 4, joining the Jaguars in the 0-4 column. Pearce.
Chase it. The Lions could possibly win. They're probably the closest. But what I really love doing here is a 4-team teaser. And you can basically just get the outright money line at plus 260 for all these teams to lose. If you're being really bold, maybe you don't tease it at all and you just take for these 4 teams to just lose against the spread. They're not good. They're all in tough matchups. Yeah, they're going to all be 0-4 next week.
Geoff, let's keep in mind here, though, dude, these teams can still go 14-3 if they want to win out.
Yeah, wow. That's totally going to happen, too. No, look, I've got a couple of these teams getting on the board here. I definitely think Detroit has a chance. Their defense hasn't been that bad, at least defense on their defensive front. Their secondary is falling apart, but do we really care what their secondary is like? Because they're going up against the Bears, who, they can't protect someone long enough to actually throw a forward pass. So I think that game is actually winnable for the Lions. The team I really like to get a win, though, here is the Colts. Finally, they've got an opponent here in the Dolphins. They're going to just be able to run Jonathan Taylor. They should finally not fall behind 14-0 because Jacoby Brissett is now throwing the ball. So maybe they only fall behind 3-0, and then Taylor can take over the game. I think this is a very winnable game for the Colts. I really do like them as an underdog. But the theme here is, if you live in New York, you need to start calling up Spider-Man, Batman, some kind of superhero, Squirrel Girl, I don't know, because the New York teams are going to both be 0-4 after this week. I'm sure Zach Wilson will get some garbage yards and everyone will get excited about him again, but because they're playing Tennessee. But no, those New York teams, 0-4.
Geoff, you're a big narrative guy. So last question here before y'all get out. What's a narrative that you personally are chasing entering Sunday in week 4? We got like a minute and a half to go in the show.
Odell Beckham returned to glory here. He's going to ball out against the Kansas City Chiefs. He played a lot of snaps in his first game back, said he didn't quite have his legs under him yet. Him and Baker Mayfield finally looked okay. I think Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham go for a big game this week against Minnesota, who stinks in the secondary. Yeah, Baker, Odell. It's finally going to happen, folks.
And Reed was talking about Kirk Cousins in the big game he is going to have. But Pearce, what's the narrative that you were chasing on Sunday?
My own homespun narrative. So we'll go Galaxy Brain, put on the nerd glasses.
Yeah.
The Giants' offense is better than they're getting credit for. Sure, losing Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton, it's a step backward, but they're going to get moving forward. Daniel Jones is having a good season. 94 quarterback rating, 161 rushing yards, no interceptions, 10.4% bad pass rate. That's the 4th best in football. And you know who they're going to call, Geoff? Colin Johnson, 6'6", never got any playing time in a Carter Jackson for last season. But when he got to play half the snaps last year, he scored 15 fantasy points in both games with a bad quarterback and didn't even get in the end zone. I love Colin Johnson this week. Go New York.